Like, how do you see maybe leaders or businesses can thrive in this next chapter, right? Knowing what
Yeah.
you're seeing in your space now.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think people should really observe very closely, including the buying habits and the behavioral patterns are going to change. The social distancing has played a major role in people.
Mhm.
There are certain areas where you can start thinking that essential products, essential goods that actually make us survive don't need to come from a different country. They don't need to come from a different place. Yes,
Yeah.
there is going to be a little bit of cost, that's okay, but actually actually helps the communities to grow together, like supporting local manufacturers.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to be everything needed to be don't need it to be built by one company or two companies. Like
Right.
for example, face masks, there are a team number of advertisements and the things that I have seen. There are
Yeah.
the most expensive ones, and then now people are coming with ingenious ideas. Like
Yeah.
take a couple of tissue papers and then try to put a handkerchief and then try to roll it up and make it as a, and that's actually better. It's like, wow, okay, that is what the kind of mindset that is changing, and the organizations need to really realize, okay, now these kind of things could happen in future too. It's not
Hmm.
like this is one and done and then we are done with it. But that is something that letting people go is probably the last thing that anybody should on any company's mind. Don't take this as an opportunity to really let people go,
Okay.
right? That's probably the worst idea that I could ever think of. Of course, the companies have different metrics to really go after,
Yeah.
but maybe try to furlough, maybe try to reduce some salaries for some people to really sustain this 2 month, 3 month hiccup that we may have.
Right.
But what happens is once you let people go and then regaining and then regrouping them and then trying to re-engage them is just going to be very, very difficult,
Yeah.
because cost of taking an employee and making him productive, every company has different cycles, but some companies have longer term, some companies are shorter term. But can you really sustain the current set of people that I have? People is the most essential thing, right? Then
Sure.
you try to now that we have seen in at least in Amazon that all our customers are asking for a
Hmm.
lot more training for their employees. So we have been spending like anything, and we are just expanding like big training sessions. That is one way, retooling your employees to
Hmm.
really catapult and to take advantage of what is in the future, what is the new technology wave that you want to really latch onto,
Yeah.
right?
That every tool I think is so important. I think I want to learning new skills
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and maybe executing the mission and the vision of the business, but
Yep.
it might be different as to what you did before to what
Right.
you have to do now. And in the future, that doesn't mean it has to go back to where it was, right? Because maybe you built something or you learned something that is the new way now.
Right.
If you
Yeah, I
don't,
mean,
you don't take advantage, you're never going to get that.
correct. Yeah, we need to invest in ourselves too. Everybody need to realize, and this is a knee-jerk reaction. Jobs will be lost, but that's fine. But that's natural process. Or
Yeah.
but what do we do with the current free time that we have? A little bit of free time. Are we going to invest in ourselves? Let me learn something, some new technology. Let me something new that's going to help me and my family in the long run,
Yeah.
right? And then be ready for this kind of outcome that's going to happen like a month, 2 months from now. Everything is going to probably will be settled, and then we will be getting ready for what is coming up in our way, right? We
Yeah.
need to be really
It's
prepared for
doing
it.
the projects, the passions that you've wanted to, that you didn't have time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You really discover now if you really love them.
Oh yeah, yeah,
If you really wanted to.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I see a lot of individuals stepping up to create like face masks or meal deliveries to local places
Right.
and all these interesting things. And I think it goes to your comment earlier that you know making things in a local region and
Mm-hmm.
supporting it. Like you're seeing everybody come to the businesses and try to support and sustain it, and then adopt the takeaway meals, family meals, like all these interesting hacks.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. I imagine as these logistics have started to get worked out, and people maybe have found passions in
Right.
making this stuff. They might become, going back to Amazon, that might become Amazon sellers where Amazon is distributing stuff locally from a local producer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like the evolution can keep continuing.
Correct.
So it's
Correct.
super exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of you support each other out. Like everybody supports each other, and it's a cohesive unit, and we all grow together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like
absolutely.
younger people buying like, making like I mean, I donated all the shirts that I had
Mm-hmm.
and like they basically made masks for
Yeah.
everybody, donated in the community. I have people making food for all the kids that don't go to school anymore. They're like, and then the hospitals are getting food, and like we're running charities, and we're like doing random flower plantings,
Right.
like just knocking on doors. Are you okay if I plant flowers for you in the yard?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like all these little things,
Mm-hmm.
it has the same vein of what you're describing, right? It's
Yeah.
taking care of each other,
Right.
and then therefore it takes care of you.
Correct. Yeah. You take care of nature. Nature takes care of you. And then you try to, and then I think we're all in this together. Like that's the
That's important.
realization that we all need to come to,
Yeah.
irrespective of
Well, I
what
appreciate you.
political lines or anything else. Yeah. I mean, totally,
I mean,
anytime, anytime.
well, the political line is interesting. Just on that last point, we
Yeah.
all have a connection point now.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a connection point. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't care.
Yeah. No
Like,
political affiliations, no religion, no
no
caste,
borders.
nothing whatsoever. Everybody is in this together, right? We are all connected.
It's super important, I think, for all of
Yeah.
us.
Very important. Yes.
Well, I appreciate it. What can I do for you? I'm gonna cut this and hopefully post them. You can inspire people with your words. What about the books that you're reading? Did you read a book recently that you're like, that was pretty wild, or that you thought it was well done and for mindset or whatnot?
I mean, there are quite a few books, but the one that I'm currently reading, actually, this is probably much of a reread. It's called Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
Extreme
Oh yeah, I
Ownership
know
by
that book.
Jocko
Yeah.
Willink.
Jocko, yeah.
So this is kind of a very interesting book. I've read it a long time ago, maybe many years ago, and now a few years ago, and then now I started reading it again,
Okay.
because I think what I think is, in these situations, right, we need to be completely accountable and take ownership of the things that we are doing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. And absolutely, it's very, very essential, including your taking care of your family versus taking care of your own self, and then taking care of your business, right? Anything that we are doing, we need to get to this extreme ownership mindset. It's kind of very, very interesting. That's what it just suddenly dawned on me one day when I was going through this, and said maybe I should just reread the whole book. But last time I probably may have just flipped through the pages, not to that extent where I've actually had that much time to really go through this. When I was on the airplanes, and that's probably when I read it.
Everything. Absolutely.
Right. So now this time around, I'm actually spending more time in reading through this. And similarly, I've been doing a lot of my, I've got a lot of books from my native land, my India.
Mhm.
And I've gotten a lot of books which were written in my mother tongue in Telugu.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So I've read those books. And Telugu, I stopped reading Telugu maybe almost like 15, 18 years ago. That active reading completely stopped, right?
Okay.
On and off and reading. And now I'm just suddenly, when I was actually teaching our kids to write and
That's
read.
wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we wanted to really teach them, because mother tongue is something that we should not lose. And we were actually teaching them. It actually gives them bilingual, trilingual kind of opportunity to really see.
And there's a lot of meaning in the language, right?
Correct.
Like language is very complex for a reason, and like in different languages, different phrases, and they connect thoughts and ideas differently than we do in English, and
right.
It's important to have that.
Right.
I like the extreme ownership example because I believe people, and I have a lot of conversations with my people I mentor, and we just have talks about this, is what you can control and what you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So having extreme ownership on what you can control and accepting that that is what it is. Like I can't accept if it's sunny or rainy.
Right.
I can control how I react to it. I can control if I'm with my family and I get to have dinner with my daughter every night. That's I can control that. I can create a great experience. We can be together more. We can be more connected.
Right.
And that's true today or when we're out of this, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Another book I'm reading is I think When Things Fall Apart, which was an interesting book. And it's just like short little pieces, but it just attempts to continue to expose me to those different types of ideas.
Yeah.
Right. And
very nice. Yeah.
Learning about the dharmas and all that. And
right.
But yeah, I don't get the privilege of reading things in your tongue.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of books, and I've never. I probably bought them. I know what they contain, but never spent that much time. But now I'm able to actually read it and really appreciate the things. And
I think you're looking for something now, right?
Sorry?
Like you're looking for something now.
Correct.
Right? Like when we read a book, like you always want to take something away from it, and, right? And you're trying to be like learn something, you're trying to become something with it. I think now some of these books, like you're really like seeking out these things, and it's not escapism, right? But it is a part of like it's giving you a bridge to kind of connect the two pieces that you might be, you need hope for, you need courage to go through, and like whatever strength or just knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that's very important for us to be able to connect back to the roots. And some of these things are actually the books that I'm reading, they connect back very much into my the native land that I come from, the villages that I come from. It kind of gives me, because that is a very happy time in our lives. And that's what, as a child, that is what I have taken. And ever since I've been moving from the city to city, a place to place, and I come to this place, and all of a sudden I get to see myself stuck in these four walls. And then I started reflecting back and say, okay, where did I come from? Where are my roots? What am I going to see? When you open this book and read a chapter on it, and it really gives me a very clear picture right in front of my eyes that I can relate to. I know how a coconut tree looks like. I know how a pond looks like. A pond with a coconut tree on a summer evening where it's right, it's a cooling down, and then you get to see the whole sense of it. And now you get to see cattle going home, and as they are going home, and you get to see the kind of dust that comes out of the road, and in that kind of evening, it kind of really a very serene picture for us. So that's the kind of happy time that we are in, we were in. All of a sudden you come here in a hyper connected world, everything is a headline, and everything needed to be a Twitter tweet that people need to react to. I said, okay, that's that. But now you have to go back and see where you come from, and then try to connect these two, and then see, are we really progressing, or where are we really going? And that's why self-reflection is always very important.
I love that. And like having like that connection, right? Like you're seeing back, you're seeing it in your mind's eye, and just having that joy there.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Our books, and I love kind of rediscovering kind of like, the good of your childhood.
Correct. Yeah. When I go back, and I may not go back to the same place where I come from, but at least I should have that in my mind, and everybody has that kind of happy space. And this is the time that to really reflect on those happy places, happy thoughts, and then have the kind of positive energy within yourself. And we are going to come out of this, whatever we are in, and we are only going to catapult, and we are a resilient species. So we are just definitely going to come out really strong.
So you had mentioned training. Is there a link or something that small businesses or people should look at? What's a good link? Or can you send me and I can share it?
Yeah, I can definitely send you. I mean, we are as Amazon is doing a lot of training, free trainings right now.
Yeah,
it does for small business owners, to anybody who's entrepreneurs, to anybody, and including schools and colleges and anything that they wanted to do. There is quite a bit of that, and I can.
If you have a favorite link or two, just shoot it over. I'll make sure I add it.
Definitely.
Like I've always enjoyed kind of the Twitch feeds where they were teaching on Alexa skills and whatnot. I'm assuming there's a battery of good.
Oh yeah.
Something people just don't know where to find it.
Right. Yeah. I'll definitely send you a link.
Well, I'm super grateful for the time, and we finally got together, and just so happy for your happiness.
Yeah. No, you're doing great, man. You're doing really great, and I keep following you on LinkedIn and all the hospital.
Yeah, Wanda hospitals. Thank God that's up and running, because they need it.
Yeah.
It was like serving like 1,200 to 1,300 people a month.
Wow.
We had 3 babies as of January or February that like 92% had never been to a doctor, let alone anything, right? So very unusual. And the biggest thing that we've been treating there has been malaria, right?
Wow.
And because we can treat that, which is fantastic, but it had not been treated, right? So like that's pretty debilitating, right? If you get something like that. So
correct.
We're some of the side extra work is we're trying to staff up a nursery school, and we're trying to build out a little bit more extensions on a church and a school to give more ability a new latrine, because it needs a new latrine, and like little things like that, but like it has big impact. Like, so for instance, we're able to put a new teacher for $25 all in a month.
Wow.
So there's one teacher for 3 to 6 year olds, or 3 to 7, I believe, and we have 46 kids in that class, that school.
Yeah.
So there's one teacher now. So we're gonna put 3 in for 25 each. And that's all in. That's everything they need.
Wow.
We have chickens. So we have a 1 egg a day for the kids.
Nice.
So like we had a bunch of chickens, and kind of the Do Good Health team. We actually had the chickens had to get moved to the border because the feed got stuck at the border. So now we have to bring the chickens back with food for the chickens because that's the only protein they get.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's little things. It's like what is it like? If you heard, oh, we need to put a new teacher in, like in your mind, you're like, oh my God, that's impossible. How would you do that?
Yeah.
No, it's $25 for the teacher. You're like, we can do $25.
That's it. Yeah, of course.
Right. And then the quality of life goes up for those kids. They didn't learn right. Building a new train, yes, is more expensive, but yeah, so that's it. So we're just trying to tackle little things right now. It's a little scary for them, right? Because they're a high touch society.
Yeah.
But they've been really aggressive because they just had the Ebola outbreak in July last year. So they were being pretty smart about the containment process. So they were ready for this one.
Wow.
Well, brother.
I mean, this is really amazing, James. As actually, it was like an offline conversation that you had with somebody, and here we are a couple of years later, and then maybe a year and a half or more.
Yeah, it took a year and a half to get from zero to done.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a
coffee shop. Just sitting in the coffee shop, hearing the problem.
I know.
Gonna help, and then
wow.
A lot between there now and then.
I mean, this is something that reminds me that God always knocks and always gives you avenues, and you have to look through the window. Like a lot of people don't look through the windows. They just completely so shut down on their phones and everywhere else. But it's just an offline conversation. Now here you are actually helping that whole community in a country that you have nothing to do with.
Yep.
And that's called a whole selfless service. I mean, may God be with you. Totally.
We're all doing good. We just got to just little pieces that we can help because they stack. Right?
Yeah.
Do a little something. It goes a huge way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you. We'll catch up soon.
Very nice. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you soon.